In addition to 4 years of undergrad and 4 years of medical school, there are several exams you'll take to become a doctor, including some very high-stakes ones like the MCAT and USMLE. One of the most valuable resources to prepare you for these exams is practice questions and practice tests. Here's how to use them most effectively. Dr. Jabal, MedSchoolInsiders.com. If you want to join the Med School Insiders team, we're hiring a video editor and director of content. Learn more and apply from the link in the description below. We'll be going over practice questions and practice tests for standardized exams like the MCAT and USMLE, but we'll also touch on how to use these practice questions for your class exams. As Sun Tzu states in The Art of War, know your enemy. There's no better way to familiarize yourself with an exam than proper use of practice questions and practice tests. Oftentimes, these questions are lifted straight from the old exams. In addition, it helps you build stamina to get through a multi-hour exam. While flashcards and prep books may seem more appealing, there is no better way to prepare than to sit down and grind through questions and take full-length practice exams. I can read about how to shoot a basketball all day, but unless I get out on the court and practice, I won't see meaningful improvement. With that said, there are good ways and there are bad ways to utilize practice questions and practice tests. Here are some good starters. Before we dive in, understand that practice tests are full length and simulate your real test day environment. These generally mimic the same testing interface, and you should treat them with the same block time limits and break lengths. Practice questions, on the other hand, are generally standalone and don't include multiple sections with breaks. For the MCAT or USMLE, these can be part of a question bank, whereby you can create a block of questions and go through them at your leisure. Whenever possible, we still recommend you stick to a time limit per question block, as operating within the time restriction is key to a strong test day score. You can also combine practice questions into impromptu practice tests, as many do with the AAMC question packs, to make equivalent practice full lengths. Practice questions can also be in the back of a class textbook or can occur standalone in another resource. In these instances, resist the urge to cheat and look at your notes or look up the answer. A large part of the benefit in practice questions is the active learning process. By taking a peek at the answer and explanation, or at your notes, you're short-circuiting the system and significantly decreasing its utility. Number 2, use practice tests early and regularly. Most students studying for the MCAT or USMLE make the mistake of waiting too long into their study period to take a practice test because they don't want to waste them. That is going to hold back your score. You want to establish a baseline early on to track your improvement throughout the process. In addition, you want to assess your strengths and weaknesses so that you can tailor your studying. Practice questions also serve as a form of active learning and are highly effective as an actual study method too. If you use practice questions and practice tests properly, you'll actually learn a great deal of content in the process, which we'll get to shortly. Leave the historically most predictive exams to use closer to your exam date. For example, that's the AAMC full lengths for the MCAT and the NBME exams for Step 1. Assuming you're like most students and block off at least 6 to 10 weeks when studying for a major test like the MCAT or USMLE, it's critical to use practice tests with sufficient frequency. During the study period, you should take a practice exam at least once every 2 weeks to start, ideally once per week. This helps with not only tracking your progress and identifying weak points, but also teaches you elements such as pacing, how the exam will likely test concepts, and of course, you'll learn content in the process too. Number 3, simulate testing conditions. Many students experience test-taking anxiety. Therefore, knowing what to expect on exam day can help boost your confidence and keep you calm. Try to simulate your test day routine and testing environment when taking practice tests. The MCAT and Step 1 both start early in the morning, typically at 8 a.m., and you want to arrive at least 45 minutes before then to check in. You should wake up at the same time you would for the real exam, and go through the same routine as you would on test day. Wear the same types of clothes and eat the same breakfast. You should ideally take your practice exam at a location other than where you normally study. This will help simulate the discomfort of a new environment, including any unexpected annoyances and sounds. Libraries are great since they are mostly quiet but are still crowded spaces with lots of people studying, just like test day. This strategy helps prepare you for background noise, but you should also try earplugs or earmuffs as you'll probably use them on the big day. The practice exams will include regularly scheduled breaks just like the real thing. Take these breaks so that you can become more comfortable with what you will do on test day. Some people like to use the restroom this time or eat a quick snack. Others just like to power through. This is the time to experiment. For most students, multiple brief breaks at the beginning of the day are best, with longer breaks saved towards lunchtime and the second half of the day. Even if you're not doing a full-blown practice test, do your best in giving practice questions your full attention. Much of the utility is lost if you're doing them only haphazardly, without intense focus that you would approach questions with on test day. Number 4, review questions both right and wrong. This is one of the most important steps, but surprisingly one that a shocking number of students skip. When I studied for my MCAT, I would spend the rest of the day just reviewing my exam or taking part of the next day to review question by question. I did the same for step 1, taking about 1 hour to do a block and an additional 2 or 3 just to review it properly. It would often take me longer to review the exam than it did to take it. It's important to review both your correct and incorrect answers, as you can get a question right for the wrong reason. That's a learning opportunity, and this can translate to substantial point differences on test day. Similarly, you can get a question wrong despite knowing the content like the back of your hand. This is also a crucial learning opportunity to see where the error occurred. Did you misread the question? Maybe you confused similar concepts. Use this opportunity to learn from your mistakes so you don't repeat them on test day. It's not only important to understand why an answer is correct, but it's also important to know why the other choices are not correct. You can do this by yourself or with a study partner. Reason through each question and make sure you understand the concepts behind them. Make flashcards for concepts and questions you find yourself missing repeatedly. Anki is a great resource for making and reviewing your own flashcards. Check out our Anki playlist if you need help getting started with flashcards. Number 5, target weaknesses. Practice exams and practice questions will provide clarity as to what areas you should address with further attention. Some practice tests will even give you a detailed breakdown by category to show your relative strengths. This is a useful way to identify areas requiring additional review such that you can tailor your studying appropriately. For example, let's say you're studying for the MCAT and keep missing questions on optics for physics. In that case, make sure to focus on that either with additional content review or additional targeted practice questions, depending on where the deficiency is, but usually a combination of both. And number 6, leading up to test day. If you've been sleeping and waking up regularly in preparation of what you'll be doing on test day, then just continue on with your routine as planned. The nerves from an upcoming test can often lead to insomnia for many students, myself included, which highlights the importance of a regular sleep and wake routine well in advance of test day. The day before, don't go too hard on studying. Understand that at this point, doing extra studying is more likely to hinder you through suboptimal recovery or increased stress. You've done all the heavy lifting, and now it's time to trust your preparation. Now is also not the time to try a radical new workout plan or diet. Stick to your routines and take it easy. Do a double check that you have everything situated for the morning, including your ID, your test center paperwork, snacks, water, earplugs, layers to accommodate for temperature fluctuations, and a face mask given the current times. Approach this day just as you would any other day when you took a practice test. Regardless of whether this is a final for class or a higher stakes exam like the MCAT, it's always a good idea to show up earlier than you need, just in case there are unforeseen delays. This also gives you a bit of time to use the bathroom and get situated. The reality is that exams are a recurring and high stakes part of becoming a doctor. But with the right preparation and approach, you'll be able to knock them out of the park. And that's what we specialize in at Med School Insiders. I'm excited to announce our all-new Pre-Med Roadmap to Medical School Acceptance course, which is on sale until the end of July with the coupon code ROADMAP20 for 20% off, and comes with a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. It was designed from the ground up by myself and our team at Med School Insiders, and it is the culmination of our collective expertise. It includes 45 videos, about 5 hours of content, and lots of information that you won't find anywhere else, because these are the tactics that only the top performers even know about. This isn't stuff you're gonna find on SDN or Reddit or your pre-med advisor or even students years ahead of you. Don't believe me? Check out this video from the course about setting yourself apart with research for a taste of what's included. That's the level of quality we have in this course. Try it out, and if you don't like it, you can get a full refund within 30 days. Thank you all so much for watching, much love, and I will see you guys in that next one.